Happy New Year.
Happy birthday to you.
Welcome to 2021, part 2 of 2020.
Or as I've been seeing it, it's still year 2020, but it just had its
December
21st birthday.
30th.
So it's in its party phase. It's going buck wild. So I'm it's going crazy. And you know, it's kind of true with how we're starting it off. It's saying 2020, now it's 21. And so it's legal age of drinking, and we're starting it off with a pretty sweet drink. So let's just kind of talk about this drink really quick. This is called a Johnny Silverhand.
Well, so first and foremost, Garrett reached out to me, and I didn't think bad night about Cyberpunk, but they have a drink called Johnny Silverhand. And we mentioned it in the video was recorded a little bit ago, but in the part we were in the afterlife, again, no spoilers, there's a drink called Johnny Silverhand, and Garrett found a recipe online, and he messaged me on Facebook Messenger like, hey, I'm making this drink, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know like people actually even did video game cocktails, if you will.
Oh yeah, dude.
So actually, I want to tell you a little bit ago. I wanted to deep dive in. There's a whole like YouTube like section of like dedicated to like different video game cocktails, all that kind of stuff, which blew my mind. Like there was one that was like Witcher 3, like meat, I think, or something like that. I was like, that blew my mind. And then they had like a Fallout, nuclear Fallout, like whiskey, I think it was, something like that too.
So yeah, during like when I was making this drink, we recorded a video of me making it. So we'll post that up as well as the live video that we're doing. It currently has 4 viewers. Thanks everybody. So you actually will see me making this drink, and I got this recipe from a guy online on YouTube. You probably saw a couple of his videos if you went down that rabbit hole. And
Did he have a beard?
Huh?
Did he have a beard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I probably. Yeah.
So, he kind of has a beard, almost a little bit like mine, kind of thing. But yeah, the channel's name is How to Drink, and yeah, he's pretty much how I described him in the video of me making this drink. He's the alcohol version of Binging with Babish. Now, those of you that know Binging with Babish don't need an explanation. Those of you that don't, Binging with Babish is a chef who recreates pop culture foods. So everything on TV, movies, and even books and video games. And yeah, he recreates it, or he tries to even fancify it, and he shows you how to do it. Where this guy, with How to Drink, he just does everything with drinks. So he's made the Hogsmeade butterbeer, and he showed you their recipe as well as the original recipe, the Johnny Silverhands. He made stuff from Rick and Morty. He made he actually just did a couple of videos going over mead and Viking style ales and everything for Valhalla. He's just done countless ones. He's done stuff from Back to the Future. He's done stuff. I want to say that's probably him that did the whiskey
Fallout or
Fallout
the
one.
yeah.
So he does a bunch, and it's really awesome. I think he has like a recipe book. I'm not entirely sure, but if he does, it's genius, and I need to get it. If not, still I'm going to be following him continuously.
Well, I always wanted to do cocktails because the singer in my band, Chris, he actually makes a mean old fashioned, and I love like the whole process. Like, especially watching you with the video was recorded, like making the whole cocktail, whatever. And I'm like, I want to do that, and stuff like that. And
yeah, and I've always like, I don't mind beer and I don't mind straight alcohol, but I've definitely been more of a mixed drink person.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, from this channel, from How to Drink, I learned a lot how nowadays cocktails is just everything, all mixed drinks. Now, where actually back in the day, a cocktail itself was a specific type of mixed drink, and every single version you would just say that, like, oh, I want a sour, or I want a martini, or I want something like this, where it was the different type of ratios of alcohol, sugar, and like an add-on, and that's what changed the title of that drink, where like a cocktail was mostly sugar, alcohol, and then I want to say like a mix-in, like a beer or something. So it's kind of cool. I learned a lot from that guy, but Oh yeah, so going back to it, yeah, this is a Johnny Silverhands that we're drinking. We're trying out. So if you watch the video, you can kind of see me how I did it. Now, it's not the exact recipe in the video of what I got, but it was something where I could do with what I had. So you take a glass and you're supposed to rim it with orange, so you could get a little
citrus off it.
Yeah, citrus off of it, and something that's sticky enough to get chili powder on it. Then you use tequila. You do some orange bitter, Angostura bitters.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
And mix that all together over ice. Strain it. Put it in your glass that you want to drink with the chili powder and everything. And then add 3 ounces of. It was a specific style of ale. It was like an agave style ale. So they didn't have it at Binny's because. It is a Mexican ale, and they're just having a hard time with imports from there due to COVID. So he gave me a Belgian-style ale that was supposed to have the same style of flavorings, and I just put agave bitter in it, or agave syrup in it, sorry, to kind of enhance it a little bit. But it was... And the reason why they went with the Belgian ale, it's supposed to be a Mexican ale, is because it has 14%, I think it was like 14.5%, 15% alcohol in it, so there's less water, so it could float on top of all those bitters and the tequila, so you have a nice gradient. Where, yeah, this one was 14%, so pretty similar, pretty close, and it was able to still, it did a pretty good job floating. I had a little bit of a difficulty because of the mixing spoon. I had to put it at a weird angle, and it's a whiskey glass, so it was a lot deeper than what I needed. But it was still did a pretty good float, and it was pretty awesome. Tom did come up with a good idea, saying instead of chili powder, we should use next time what kind of powder?
Tajin. It's same concept, but it's a lime chili powder.
Yeah.
You know, and you put that around in the glass, and you get like the citrus off of that, and then a little bit of the kick. Because I'm assuming what you're trying to do with the chili powder, get a little bit of a kick when you have the sip of it, if you will, on it. So next time, Tajin, and then. I mean, also we were talking before the podcast even began too. That maybe sometimes I'll bring in my own cocktails. I am like a mean Dr. Pepper cream soda with a little bit of screwball, and yeah, it's really good. It's a sweet treat. You know, I would call it a dessert cocktail, if you will.
Yes.
And then actually, I want to tell you too about like meat, whatever. I actually am going to be hanging out with a guy soon to teach me how to brew beer soon.
Yeah, very nice.
2 weeks from Saturday. I'm going to this guy's place. I don't want to say his name just in case he's going to be known, whatever. But he is going to teach me how to brew a tropical IPA, and then so I'm pretty excited about that.
Very cool. That sounds good. Tropical IPA. That's something I might actually drink.
You and we're also with the mead probably too. You know, we're learning how to maybe.
Yeah. So I learned a couple of awesome things about mead. And I've been watching videos. I talked to your brother, and he's gonna link me up with a guy too. That'd be funny if it's the same guy.
Yeah.
My idea right now. So traditional mead is actually made within a couple days. They actually started drinking within like 3 or 4 days of it.
See, I didn't know that. I thought it was like a whole process.
Right now it's a whole process. It's pretty much treated like wine. You actually age it. Where back then it was pretty much within like 4 or 5 days it was ready. Then we started drinking it, and it would have some alcohol. You could obviously do a test on the percentages and proof of it, but it was a lot sweeter because the honey was more dominant, more prominent. So my idea right now is actually start doing it by like 5 gallons, doing 5 gallons worth. So I would need like I think. It's like a quart of honey for every gallon you make, so I was going to need like a gallon and a quart or something like that, and start doing that. But my idea of it is then after the first part of it, where you actually start putting into separate buckets and letting it like fully like age and ferment and all that, is I'm going to do it split it into 5 different things and have 1 gallon as traditional, so it'd be within like a week, another one within 4 months, and then or 3 months, another one in like 6 months, and then like 8 months or something like that. Go up by like 2 months and see.
I would love to
and
be
just
part of that.
Taste the difference, and then kind of find my own style of like I'm a little bit more of like a 4-month aging, and then start going into more for different flavors and everything. But my ultimate one, I messaged you about it. I don't know if you read it. So when you think of Vikings, you think of big burly men, big strong men. So
with beards.
So my idea, I have to do a lot more research on this, and this is going to be definitely way down in like year, maybe 2 years of like testing this out. Yeah. But I want to make a post-workout mead. So I know they already have protein ales.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out how they made protein ales and exactly what they did to do it. But my whole thing is I want protein in it. Then I'm gonna want creatine, and then like just a good like beneficial like post-workout protein drink mead. So it's going to be nice and sweet, just like a mead, have a little bit of alcohol in it, maybe not a whole lot like regular mead where it's like 14-15% kind of thing. Or I've even seen some that were 19%. I had a couple that
I've
were
had
19.
a mead, Benny's, I forgot what it was called unfortunately, but it was an elderberry mead.
Yeah.
It was like 16-17%.
Yeah.
One of those where like,
so
sip on it because you'll be on your butt and...
Yeah. So my whole thing is where you could have light percentage of alcohol but very beneficial, and so you're going to have like leucine, creatine, protein, glutamine, and like beta alanine in it. It's going to be like the ultimate like post-workout drink where you could just be like, I'm just going to go home, and because a lot of people, they'll go and work out after work, right? So they go work out after work, and they go home and they're just tired. So they have their dinner, and then you're gonna need a drink with dinner. So you have mead. So and you're gonna have your protein and everything from your regular dinner, and then you're gonna have extra protein and all of that beneficial like amino acids and other things that you just need to benefit that workout a little bit more. Sure, the alcohol will have some adverse effects, but if it's a light alcohol, it won't really matter.
Well, typically,
it won't matter.
Even like for me at least, with my knowledge of beer, like a sour ale, or like a sour beer in general, it's low alcohol by volume. You get more of the flavor off that, etc. So it's definitely I think achievable from my knowledge so far to make a mead like that, and
it's definitely just a lot of research, and then eventually saving up enough money and ship it to a lab to get it tested to see how much of everything is still in there.
Yeah, because even like beer with your fermentation processes, depending on what you're making, you have one fermentation process or two, and that's the flavors and all that kind of crap into it, and like the hops or the malts, etc. I know mead is. Again, it's honey wine, pretty much, but it definitely, I think, if were to do that and make it and get a sense out, I like your idea to incorporate a post-workout, drink and
I think, so see how it goes, but
well, the question is now, since I brought it up, how's Valhalla? I haven't played it yet.
So. Valhalla is an amazing game. I'm like 28 hours into it. I've only came across one glitch, and it was an aggravating glitch where two quests like pretty much intersect each other, and due to that, you can't like progress. Characters are supposed to be where they're at, but because you're trying to start another quest, they're in a different area of the map, so you have to So there's a way around it where you have to take your horse and push one character into a certain area and kind of block them in, and then it'll work out. But that's like the only thing that I really came into. There's been some glitches that I've read where people save files just randomly get deleted. Don't know how that works. Mine hasn't happened yet. Recently I had a small glitch. I don't know if it was the computer or the game, but it was just giving me a blue screen of death, and it was saying like I can't remember the error code, but I looked it up, and they're like, usually it's a driver issue. So I just did a quick update on all my drivers. There was like one or two that needed to be updated, and then like I updated like the Microsoft security and the regular updates, and I played it today, and it seems to be working fine. So I think it was just more of a computer issue. But it is what it is, whatever. But no, the game is a lot of fun. They brought back a lot of cool old aspects of the games that people loved, and they're going to be bringing another one that was in Odyssey that people really liked. So the graphics are amazing. The story mode is out of this world, and there's just a lot to do, and I really like it. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Damn it, this is going to be another episode of with Valhalla. So going back to it after like 20 minutes in, 15 minutes in, going into this drink, lovely drink.
Yes.
To me, it has a little bit of a whiskey thing, but I don't know. I also have a weird palate. But yeah, so it's called the Johnny Silverhand, and Johnny Silverhand, for those of you, there's going to be spoilers in this episode. Deal with it. So yeah, Johnny Silverhand is Keanu Reeves' character, and I still have mixed reviews on his character. I really don't know how I feel about his character.
Well, I mean, off the bat, when you first are introduced to him, when
he's kind of a douche.
Yeah, a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, you're just like Keanu. Like,
yeah, what are you doing, bro? Like you're in the midlife crisis, and yeah. I don't know. It very much was a when I played it, it was. Okay, I'm not the character anymore I was, or V, I think the name of the character is, not Keanu Reeves' character, and I'm like, why is he being so nice? He's being mean right now, man.
Yeah, because like it's Keanu Reeves, like all his characters that he's ever played are pretty awesome, and then even in the trailer, like all right, he's playing this really badass character, and then you meet him, you're like, he's a douche canoe. What a douche canoe. So I was like, I don't know. And then you play a little bit more, and you're like, I'm kind of getting into him. Kind of.
Well, I think that's one of my main complaints was a lot of people are kind of already pooping on the game because they haven't even progressed. Because for me, at least, when I first got the game, again, talking about my friend Chris, he said the first half's going to be a little bit slow, and wasn't kidding, I was kind of to pick back up. And then after that first initial, part of the story, you get into the meat of it. It's
Dude, that first part of the story, I'm like, it's getting really good and everything, especially, and then when you finally meet Keanu Reeves' character, and then you see the title, you're like, I just spent like 4 hours of this game. Like, I thought I was past the opening.
Yeah,
that was the opening.
Which I think, I don't know, I'm trying to recall if any video game kind of did that before. I mean, I know there's been plenty that have done like the opening part. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think one of the Call of Duty games had that, where it's like you play the intro part, then it has a title card to it and whatever. But
not too many do.
Cyberpunk was pretty cool for me with that. And
well, actually, no. Valhalla kind of does that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So it pretty much brings you into a tutorial. It kind of shows you through everything, and you play like a quick quest or two. It's about like maybe an hour and a half in, and then it does then you kind of get like a title screen of it all. So, but yeah.
Well, so for me at least, and I don't know, I'm kind of getting close to like the end of the game, if you will. I know it's multiple endings, obviously.
I heard there's like 6 or 8.
Yeah, much like even like Fallout 4 did. There's not like a lot of different endings, but like 4 or 5 or again,
it was like pretty much depending on what faction you kind of sided with.
I love the game so far. I think people. I know people weren't happy about it. I mean, they even had, I think we discussed this in a previous podcast, where there was a class action lawsuit against...
There's still a class action lawsuit. There's multiple lawsuits against them. I'm like, dude, guys, seriously, calm your dicks.
Yeah, no. There was... I think, personally for me, a lot of people out there who... And mind you, I'm not an avid video game player, so I'm not going to remotely try to say I'm in that group of... I wake up every morning and play video games, etc., but... For me, being, I guess, a gamer, just to have fun, a casual gamer, if you will.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I've seen very minor glitches on my end, and the gameplay is pretty smooth, and I like the story arc, whatever.
Oh, the story is great.
People are unfortunate on the internet. The internet can be a very powerful tool, but also be a very destructive tool. People, demanding refunds and
it. CD Projekt Red isn't this huge company.
No, they're very low key.
It's a very low key company. I would say, I'm gonna do a quick Google search, but I would be surprised if there's more than 50 workers. How many employees for CD Projekt?
I would assume maybe above. Okay, maybe a max
Oh, okay. I'm way off. Sorry. by 2019 it was 1,111.
Okay, so they do have a decent amount of staff,
but it's nothing like with EA, where EA has 9,300.
By the way,
in 2018. No.
with Star Wars.
Yeah. So
sorry, off topic again, but I was so happy to hear that EA officially lost, or they don't have the rights anymore to Star Wars.
I don't know if they don't have the rights or they're starting to lose some rights. I don't.
Cool, fine. Get it out of there. I don't care. Like,
you're gone.
Remove it. Because I personally have been hating the way they've been treating the Star Wars series. But anyway, back on topic.
But then again, Last Jedi was pretty good.
Yes.
That was EA, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Fallen Order. You mean Fallen Order?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was.
I'm pretty sure that was EA. That was really good. I haven't finished it. Carly's gonna get mad at me, but it was really good. And in my defense, Carly, really good games came out, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a lot of heavy hitters towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Valhalla, Cyberpunk, and then
Cold War.
So, which I still
it's not too bad. I think it's a lot better than the newest Modern Warfare. The newest Modern Warfare wasn't bad, but everyone's like, "Oh my God, this reminds me of Modern Warfare 2." No, shut up.
I can never. I'm sorry, but like I have very fond memories of Modern Warfare 2 after high school.
Yeah.
I want to play it. I don't think you can't recreate that game, in my opinion. At least it's just the game is so.
I remember getting that game on Christmas, and I got it from my grandma.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and it's unwrapped, and I'm like, I want to play it. I can't play it. And then I go home, and my parents are like, "Oh, off to bed." I'm like, "Bro, I want to play it." So I go to bed, and I wake up super early, install it, start playing it, open gifts on actual Christmas with my parents and everything, start playing again. They're like, "All right, it's time to go." And I'm like, "But you want to play it?"
That's how I felt when I got Black Ops 2, I think. I got it for Christmas. I was
Black Ops 2 was good.
Well, because I remember playing. I got the first Black Ops game when I was working my first job ever, which is really weird to think about now. But I was a seasonal salesman at Best Buy, and the first Black Ops game, which I'm so pissed at myself that I sold it. Because dumb Tom back then he smoked cigarettes. I was like, "Oh, these cigarettes for myself," and I sold. It was the Prestige Edition, with the RC car with the camera on it. And then you get the metallic game case, and then like the remote control, whatever. And I unfortunately sold it because I was like, "Oh yeah, cigarettes." Yeah, stub me.
Stupid.
Yeah, but playing zombies was cool, and then
I can't play zombies by myself. I think it's just boring. I like playing with friends.
I look at it as more of a challenge by myself because I have to
I also get creeped out. Those zombies are kind of creepy.
Well, being a big horror buff, I don't get creeped out at all.
My name is Tammy.
Well, and that's back to Cyberpunk though.
But it's like, all right. So the thing that drives me crazy is Fallout 76 was a huge flop.
Still is. They haven't fixed any. There's still bugs that haven't been fixed yet whatsoever.
And people are still buying the game. They're still playing it. And are there any class action lawsuits against Bethesda? No. Is anyone majorly complaining about Bethesda? No. They don't give a rat's ass. Well, because it's Bethesda. It's Fallout.
I'm saying there's this new staple that you kind of, which I don't understand how the consumer can allow this in a sense, but they've allowed Bethesda just to release it up in this game and be okay with it. I'm kind of surprised that
the only games that were good that came out of Bethesda was Doom.
Yes, yeah, that pretty.
And they took their time on it, and it wasn't main Bethesda. It was like some sub portion of Bethesda.
I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but that, and then, mind you, I'm a huge Fallout guy. I love playing the Fallout games.
You're the one that got me into Fallout.
Well, because. I can't tell the story because I won't get in trouble, but he had a poor idea pretty much a while back, Fallout 4 when it came out, and
it worked. I got it.
He did, and I was jealous, but then
sticking it to the man.
He already told me when he got the game, though, that Bethesda, it was already, littered with glitches or certain game-breaking issues, whatever, in Nick Valentine's character especially, too,
Oh, yeah. Just not there, or the eyes were just there, and there's
no body.
Creepy as shit.
With CD Projekt Red, they're called, right?
Yep.
I'm not gonna even fault them because I guess they're dropping the new a big patch in a couple days actually for the game, so they're supposed to at least fix a lot of the I don't know if it's major issues, but some of the minor issues in the game. to make it playable, even though I think it's playable and people are just complaining about it. But also, I feel that if you truly like are invested into just tearing the game apart for issues that I would say even the fans kind of caused by rushing the game, then I don't feel bad for you. I like it. I'm getting near the end of the game as well, and I love it, and I think it's a really cool game to play. And dare I say, I'll play it again because unlike other games, it has replay value.
Oh yeah, I played it a couple times more.
Well, for games in general nowadays, I look for replay value. Like I don't. I can't buy a game that I'm not going to replay again and again because it's going to sit there in my shelf and just collect dust.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because you and me are more the same. We don't really care too much about online play. We care more about the story.
Again, I picked up Black Ops 3 again because it's for one of those mindless games to play on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like it's point and shoot, cool, whatever. But yes, I'm more invested in the storyline and invested in a good, solid, structured game that will let me explore because. One of the big games that started out was Fallout, but also Borderlands 2.
Yeah, you were big into Borderlands.
Yes.
Borderlands 3 was hysterical. I still haven't finished it because, again, I really suck at not finishing games and then just moving on to the next big thing. But yeah, Borderlands 3 was really fun, pretty hysterical.
Yeah. Well, especially if they had like the Tommy Wiseau like reference character. It's like, oh hi, how are you? Okay, it'd be die laughing, but. Yeah, so I would say everybody go play the game. Like, don't let the internet, and this is a general life lesson in my opinion, don't let the internet judge what you should and shouldn't buy. Obviously, yes, it's a video game, so if you want to invest money into it, it's a lot of money, I understand, but also the key thing is don't be afraid to form your own opinion on things. Don't let people, form an opinion for you, and then you kind of just blah on it.
And that goes for anything in life, really.
Yeah.
Movies, games, music, food, drinks. Like, the biggest thing, especially with, like, this is the one thing that really annoys me with toxic masculinity. Alright, so there's masculinity, and then there's definitely toxic masculinity. And this is the toxic masculinity. I love sours. Why? Because they're sweet and they're fruity. I don't care. They taste really good. I don't want a bitter taste. If I wanted a bitter taste, I would just go like, I don't know, suck on a prune.
Yeah.
Where that's just my flavor profile. That's what my taste buds like. That's what I like. Where like, yeah, Tom, he loves IPA. I can't get into it. I don't understand why, but he loves them. I'm not gonna judge him for it. I'm gonna bust his balls a little bit because it's definitely more of a it's just every hipster that I've ever met and known, and they're just like, oh, this IPA is amazing.
I drink stouts too. Don't judge. Don't hate.
No.
Don't hate.
And there's certain stouts that I really like, and there's other stouts that I don't like. Like, I love Guinness, and I love that one peanut butter stout. Amazing. But I think it was like the Mississippi Mud River or whatever, that stout.
Well, yeah, that's. I'll compare that to like the PBR of stouts. It's light-ish, and that's actually a porter, I think.
Is it? Oh, so bad.
I don't know. I think it's a porter actually, but so I have to. We'll go into more of that for like a little bit more of the next podcast. But that guy Tom has to cut down the beer. It's a health. I'm not gonna die. Don't worry. But I just gotta. Too much.
Everyone dies sometime, Tom.
True. Too much of a good thing can affect your body. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely can.
I gotta kind of be nice to my body soon, which we're actually making a segment out of that. We'll let the next podcast actually have some questions for you. But I want to go into now your topic that you were mentioning about cybernetics and.
So focusing with Cyberpunk 2077. Now in that game, pretty much everyone was pretty much a cyborg.
Yeah,
in a sense, there's people that were twins that had like linked communications between themselves, so they're actually like the same person. You could get augmented eyes, you could get cybernetic arms and control to link up with your eyes, and superhuman speed through like augmented feet, and it was just really cool. No one was just traditionally human. Everyone was like part machine, part human. And it was just really awesome, and to me that's always fascinated me. Now I've always loved technology just because it's super amazing, and it's also super scary with some things that you could do. But Watching this game, I'm like, yes, because in full honesty and complete honesty, yes, I would definitely be doing it. Definitely, like if there was if there was a chip like upgrade, I would have got it instantly. I would have got it instantly. If of course there's like chances of being hacked, I'll take my best precautions not to, but I would definitely do it. So it got me thinking, what nowadays is similar? And the biggest thing would be, I guess, just right off the bat, prosthetics. Now, it started off with just having, like, you think of a prosthetic, you think of a fake leg, and it's just metal and polymer kind of thing. And it does its job. It holds up. And there's different type of legs that you could do depending on situations. They have the runner's legs, they have lifting legs, they just have walking legs. They even have all-terrain legs kind of thing. So if you're running in the woods kind of thing. So it's just you click it on, and there's a little bit of a process of clicking on, but yeah, you put it on and you just go. And then same thing with arms. There's just fake arms, just like the prosthetic legs. It's just makes it look a little bit less unnatural. Like you don't have the stump, you have an arm, so you could put it like a sleeve over it and a glove, and people won't really have much of a thought of it. Now there's also other stuff like this. So like with this one, it is called the Hero Arm by a company called Open Bionics. Now it's pretty much it's 3D printed polymer. Oh, see this later.
Yeah, I'm a caramel.
Yeah, because
yeah, no,
he had a fake arm, and the video is really cool, and like pretty much since it's 3D printed and it's completely custom made. Like this one, you could kind of tell is like an Iron Man arm.
Yeah,
but they're robotic arms. They can lift up to like 18 or 20 pounds, something like that. They fully move. So if you're, I think it only works on if half of your forearm is amputated, because it still works with the muscles of your forearm. But there's double amputees that use them, and they're sensitive enough to allow you to grab forks, use utensils, pick up eggs, use cameras, write with them, and everything like that. So they're amazingly engineered, and especially with 3D printing so advanced now, you could make anything with them. So they started making prosthetics with them, and then of course putting robotics into it and engineering them. And then it goes even to more advanced ones where they actually connect them to your neuro system, where there's prosthetics so advanced that when they connect it to your nervous system, they regain the sense of touch.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
So instead of having that ghost arm feeling, like, oh, I feels like I am touching this, like they literally are touching it. And they have like much more, a lot more grip strength to them, so they could actually like arm wrestle and pick up heavy weights and work out with them kind of thing. So you could still do movements with that. But that's just the biggest thing, where they're taking this robotic arm, connecting it to living tissue, and it's able to be programmed with your nervous system and your brain, and it all connects. So not only are you able to move it, but then if you do touch something, it signals to the brain that you're touching something, so you feel it. Where that was the biggest problem with a lot of the robotics, is people would do it and you'd have to like visually tell yourself to stop moving. It's like, I'm picking up an egg, and people would just crush it. Yeah. Where this one, you could feel it and you're like, okay, cool.
Which and that's insane to me. That's nuts. Like, I never would have thought in my lifetime would have saw that, at least. But
so just going off of those two things, like with Cyberpunk 2077, like there's people that'll put type of magnetic and robotic stuff into your arms, where you're able to hold the gun without it like falling out. You have better grip, and it's able to program with the electronic gun and tell you how much ammo is in it and control the recoil. So this is like right up there, where it's able to. It's like if you do have a smart gun device, which they're smart guns.
Yes,
there are smart guns. Where it has the biofeedback, so you can only shoot them if it reads your fingerprints, and it'll tell you exactly how much ammo is in it, and it tries to predict recoil in it too, where if you had a smart arm, and it connected with that weapon, it could completely take away recoil.
Yes.
And
yes.
you could just...
And nothing at all.
Yeah, so it is just amazing. And then even with any type of smart device, let's say you're a crane operator, and you could get a smart arm device installed, so you have a smart arm, and it connects to your handles of that crane, and you have full control of the crane, and it's like programmed so you could like feel it moving. Mm-hmm. So if there's like a wind pickup, you know how to like move the crane arm, so and like accommodate to it. And you might, hell, if you have cameras, then you might be able to like sense the cameras. Or moving into the next thing.
Oh boy.
The future of contact lenses.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So now you probably didn't know this one. Google was trying to make a smart contact lens.
That was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
So they were making the Google Glass, the Google glasses, and everyone just like thought that was amazing. But then, if you love Futurama, you have the actual the iPhone.
Yeah.
It pretty much plays off of this. So there's multiple different versions of smart contacts, but there's ones that'll take photos. There's ones that'll enhance your eyesight. So instead of 20/20, you could have like, I don't know how. I always forget what 20/20 fully does, and like which number does what. I know it's like you'd be able to, out of 20 yards, you'd be able to see all 20 yards clearly. So, but pretty much like you see like 4 times further than a normal person. So I guess like, I don't know, 80/20 I think it would be.
Wow.
Or even like 120. Like it zooms in, like an eagle. You're supposed to have eagle vision clearly, and control it. So you're able to control the zoom. There's ones where you put it in, and then if you like for diabetics where it'll sense the moisture of your eye and give you your blood sugar, and it give you like a reading of it, as well as like your body temperature and everything, so you know when to eat or if you're feeling down and sick. There's ones that are like if you look into the corner of your eye, it connects with your phone, so it'll give you a heads up on who texted you and what they said. So there's a bunch of them. there's a bunch of different ones. With this one, it commutes. Let's see. A flick to the right as my eyes flittered around the room. I moved through a virtual interface only visible to me, scrolling through a calendar, looking up commute times home, and even controlling music playback. It's all I theoretically need to do to use the Moho lens, a smart contact lens coming from a company called Moho Vision. And it's based out in California, but Google was doing something similar to it where the Google glasses that they had, they wanted to make it into contact. So these are just contacts. Can you imagine if they were able to make an eye?
Just a prosthetic eye.
They already have prosthetic eyes. People lose their eyes all the time.
Yeah.
Either they're born without them or through a tragic accident. And it's just an empty hole, so they put in a fake eye. And back in the day, it was like just an actual, just like a marble type thing.
Glass.
Where now it's almost like a cover, I guess you could say. Yeah. It's not like an orb. It's like a weird shape where you kind of like fit it in, and then it like slides down, and it stays there. So if you're able to take like a regular marble eye, and put all the technology into it, because this is just a contact lens. Those things are super thin. Mm-hmm. So if you're able to have just the size of an eyeball, so much technology could fit into there. So much technology, and you just do, and they have the bionic, like how we were talking about the arm, where they link it up to your nervous system. The nervous system that runs with the eye is a huge advanced thing, and I would assume they would be able to hook it up to that easily. So now, going back to it, you have this, going back to the crane operator, cranes have cameras on them. Mm-hmm. So you'd be able to link up with your arms, with your hands, and holding it, and then as soon as you do that, it links up to your eyes. So those cameras, so you could maybe just have one eye, and you could just close your other one, so you could see exactly what the crane sees, and then you could open the other, and you could see what the crane sees, and then what you see from there. And then, if that other eye, you could have that awesome eagle zoom So then you could have you're already at like bird eye view, and then you just eagle vision on down to spot little things. So just awesome. So, and going into it's like, oh, maybe they can do stuff through the eyes like that. This one, this is a really cool thing. It's a brain implant. Now, this brain implant does two things for people of being blind and then being deaf. So this takes a whole new thing where it's I forgot what they're called offhand, but it's a hearing aid that implants into the side of your head.
Okay.
And yeah, pretty much you're able to hear more clearly, like in actual sounds and everything. But this one is taking a step further, where pretty much it completely links up to your brain itself. And you never have to like charge it, you never have to take it out or do anything like that. It pretty much reprograms your ears completely.
Wow.
And so like I guess they had a couple of successful trials with it for deaf people. But it's also they've been working on it with this one. They've been using it to help with Parkinson's disease. They've been using it to help with obsessive compulsive disorder, and then just like full on like other neurological problems. Then they've also been doing it to treat medical injuries, so like spinal cord injuries and everything, and neurological damage. So this is they're pretty much reprogramming the neurological system.
Wow.
And they even had successful trials where people that were blind were able to not completely see, but go from being like darkness to actually seeing light and shapes.
Wow.
And then people that were colorblind were able to see colors that even regular humans can't see. So they go beyond the normal spectrum of color that our eyes see.
That's insane.
Yeah, and this is just going. It's just a little bit more advanced, deep brain stimulation, but they're able, and pretty much what it is it's a living electrode. So they make electrodes out of living tissues from stem cells. So they implant it into the brain, and then they could connect it to wherever they want. And since it's also a living tissue, it pretty much starts healing into the brain itself.
Wow.
And starts to reprogram the brain. Yeah. So
it's kind of terrifying, and it seems that quite a bit.
Pretty much, yeah. Like with those three things, you have neurological connected prosthetics. You have smart contacts, which they could easily make into smart eyes, and then you have living electrode brain implants. With those three things alone, you could have an enhanced body. Theoretically, theoretically, because the next step after that is just implanting a processor into your brain, which pretty much was Upgrade was about. They implanted a processor. Yeah, amazing movie. Still my number 2 favorite movie. My number 1 is Alita right now. But yeah, like they pretty much they implanted a processor straight into that man's like spinal cord.
Yeah, right.
Into the spinal column. And it reprogrammed it, which is that's what this is. That is exactly what this is. They took a living electrode with the processor, attached it neurologically, and it grew and healed into itself because the body recognized it as living tissue, and it accepted it. There's always a chance that it could reject it with anything. It accepted it, and it molded into that man's spinal column, the spinal cord.
That's so,
and he was a living, breathing computer, and that's what this could be. Like it's already allowing to enhance attention and memory. It helps with those neurological disorders, the Parkinson's, obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm assuming probably also like bipolar and everything like that. Even spinal cord damage with people that were paralyzed and other neurological damage, and even deaf people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that alone is just a huge step forward. And then, yeah, you combine it with a person with eagle vision and then camera vision and then a person that has a robotic arm that is able to link up to devices, smart devices, as long as they have permission. And you have Cyberpunk 2077 right there automatically. And it all started just from pretty much this hero arm. Just a robot arm. They're like, well, how do we make this a little bit more advanced? How do we make that a little bit more advanced? How do we treat this? How do we treat that? And just thinking of Patrick with the $1 bill with the paint on it, we have technology. And that's pretty much just what they did. There you go. But it doesn't stop there. It does not stop there. Why not? Now, this is all for people that have either they were born with an issue, with a problem, or through an accident, they came to this area where they needed this help. But what if you were able to see if a person was going to be born with a problem and change it? That is exactly what this is happening. Designer babies. Now this is, I want to say, yeah, so comfortably seated in the fertility clinic. Does it say what clinic? I can't remember. But so pretty much this is like you're wanting the baby. Mm-hmm. You just can't have it, like you and your wife want to husband sterile and just can't get it, or you're a homosexual couple and you want to have a kid of your own, so you go and you get vitro fertilization. So you could kind of get an idea oh yeah, this person was healthy and blah blah blah, this is where the sperm or the egg is coming from. And now this one, it goes even further. So this is what you would see. Embryo 78, male, no serious early onset diseases, but a carrier for phenylketonuria or whatever, a metabolic malfunction that can cause behavioral and mental disorders. Carriers just have one copy of the gene, so don't get the condition themselves. Higher than average risk of type 2 diabetes and colon cancer, lower than average risk of asthma and autism, dark eyes, light brown hair, male pattern baldness, 40% chance of coming in the top half in SAT scores. That's just naturally. That's what they would see. Going then further is, how do you want to improve it? Do you want them to be in the top half? We could do that for you of the SATs. Do you mind diabetes? No, that's not a thing you care about. Okay, we can keep that in there. But the cancer is something you do worry about. All right, we could get rid of that for you. You don't want brown eyes? You want blue eyes? Sure. You want brown curly hair instead of brown straight hair? We could definitely do that. You're not sure of what kind of gender? We could surprise you.
That to me is where it gets kind of the line gets kind of blurred, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's what's that one thing from Jurassic Park? You know,
Life Finds a Way.
Life Finds a Way, yeah. Whatever. But I don't think. Now, mind you, this kind of goes into a, I guess, part religious debate, which I'm not getting into, but also ethical debate. And though I see definitely the positives that you can alter certain things that can, make a child's life a lot more promising and brighter without the worry about certain genetic diseases.
Yeah.
I get kind of concerned then that you are also playing with things that I think shouldn't really be played with, in a sense. That goes back into ethics and then that kind of thing, but I do see this, it's already here technically, but this becoming a big thing moving forward in the future with kids and especially just newborns having their genetic code altered.
Yeah.
And I kind of worry for the repercussions of how that would change things for when they're basically in the 9-month period into being born. But also, again, it's technology in general. It's a lot of benefits to it, and everything could benefit society. But also, there's going to be that drawback to where it could do a lot of damage. So how do you feel about this whole process then?
It is definitely one of those things where it is scary. Again, technology can be extremely scary. but I could see why people want it. They're already investing a lot of money into this process of becoming pregnant.
Yeah.
There are and some people, they just don't want to take the chance where the baby comes out to a human being that they just can't afford to take care of. They can't afford to put a baby through chemo because it has cancer. There's a risk of cancer, and there's always risk of cancer. But yeah, that baby ended up having or growing up and having cancer, and they just 10 years old, they can't afford to do it, and the baby dies. I could see why people don't want to run the risk of losing out on the money and then losing out on their child. I could see that, but also at the same time, like, that's a lot to control.
Yes.
And that's also like not, and then people just naturally having babies, they don't have control over that. So it's then it comes down to where this article again was also written 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is technology is most likely controlling even more, but yeah, like I'm sure if people naturally were able to have babies and then they were able to go to the doctor and they were able to like take some DNA out and be like, oh, this is how the baby's going to be when they grow up. Do you want to change it? I think a lot more people would be comfortable with it. But still, like, that's just it's scary. It's messed up at the same time. Because me personally, yeah, I would just want to see naturally how my genes play out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna love the child no matter what. I'm gonna do the best to give it the life that I could give them. So even if I we had to go and get artificially pregnant, I would still want the same thing.
Yeah.
But I could see why people would want it, simply just because of investment reasons.
Of course. I mean, well, then it always comes down to, at the end of the day, in dollar signs, obviously.
Yeah.
You know.
If they're paying $20,000 to get pregnant, they're like, what's another $5,000 to guarantee that this kid's going to be completely healthy? We don't have to worry about it, other than just, they broke a leg kind of thing. But
it's insane to me, and just kind of everything to wrap up. I mean, everything in the ball you just said right now with the arms, the context, etc. You know, the whole possibility of, for me at least, being a big horror nerd, you know, seeing, watching horror movies back in the day where technology gets out of hand and then, it becomes, this thing where you're fighting against machines, even like Terminator,
yeah. Well, then even speaking of Terminator, so I wanted to bring this up. There's not much you could find, mostly because military. So there is a military project called the Talos Project. Now Talos, I don't know, is from Greek mythology. He was the pretty much the giant armored, engineered guardian protector, and they made the Talos Project after him because they're making an exosuit like Iron Man. They want to make the super soldier of the future, and there's some really awesome things with it, where as of recently, as much as I could find and as much as I heard through some contacts, that pretty much it has enhanced running power and lifting power from the legs, as well as enhanced lifting power with the arms, and recoil control, as well as punching power. So pretty awesome stuff so far. But they wanted to make like pretty much the perfect Iron Man suit too, where it goes into like body armor and everything like that. But there is some also really cool, awesome headsets where it has like night vision has gone an extremely long way. Where this night vision, it is able to sense complete light. So if you do go in a room and it throws a flashbang, it turns them off instantly, so you don't get blinded. It has automatic thermal too, where you could just like kind of press like a button on like your glove, and it automatically turns into thermal instead of changing stuff around. And IR as well is built into it, where usually if it goes into IR, you need a whole new headset or whatever. Where this one is it all in one, where you could have thermal and IR, night vision and IR. It just goes all into it. And what's also really awesome is they all have cameras too, and you're able to see through an IR HUD, or not an IR HUD, just like a glass HUD, what your teammates are seeing. And you're able to see a map of the building that is pretty much uploaded into your HUD, and to see where everyone's placed.
See, that to me is also it's like a video game. I don't
really is.
It blows my mind, man.
Most of the time, like. But like, yeah, people read books. A lot of these people that are making books and writing books, they're just extremely imaginative, and they're going completely well beyond what is possible. Like, look at Star Trek and Star Wars. Well, we still have, like, we just made a lightsaber.
Yeah, I know the plan. I watched a video on YouTube, and
a controlled plasma lightsaber. So it's like, due to other people's creativity, this is what makes things happen now.
Yeah.
Because it drives people, I want to do this. And look at Iron Man. The movie came out. Granted, some people probably were like, oh, this would be really cool if the military had this. But then you see Iron Man, and then it connected hardcore with the military because one is a movie. And they were like, reading hard, movie easy. But they saw the movie and they're like, this I could, now they visualizing like I could actually see being awesome in the military. And then they probably saw Iron Man 2 and they're like, shit, that's probably not a good idea. But it sparked interest, and that's how. And having a super soldier was always a thing, and they already have robotic soldiers kind of thing. They have like the robotic dogs, where like dogs, but it's like little. I think they call it the camel or something like that, or the donkey. But they pretty much put it's a carrier for like all their crap.
Yeah.
And it's able to, like, I don't think they implemented it yet. They're still working on it. It's through Boston Dynamics. I know that for sure. But yeah, other people's creativity becomes the projects of now. So
what did Mr. Chris say, by the way?
Mr. Chris. Oh, to be fair. Oh, we got a lot. If you were a baby born with some type of crazy health issue and later found out that your parents decided not to have that corrected before you were born, would you be a little pissed? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Don't forget about the invisibility material currently being developed. Yes. But no, that's actually, Chris, that is an extremely fair point. If I found out that, granted, if I was like, oh, I have diabetes too, and I found out my parents were like corrected, I would just ask why, and they're gonna be like, well, diabetes is controlled. You're, like, as long as like you're fine, like you're fine. But if it was something where like, it was like Parkinson's, I'd be like, why didn't you fix that?
Yeah, that would be a good point. And Chris's point, mind you, this is stuff that I should probably research into in general. Like, I haven't really taken the time out to look into cybernetics, and even like the contact lens is still blows my mind right now. But I can kind of see from that point of view that if there was an opportunity to change it, for sure I would most likely want to change it.
And that actually also leads into just eradicating other diseases.
Yeah.
HIV, AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, but like things like that. Like if you're like, oh yeah, this person is a carrier, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
And this could then go into eradicating viruses, because as of right now, there's only been one virus ever fully eradicated, and all the other ones that are saying, oh, we just don't have it. No, we just don't have it here. It's at other places, and like polio, we don't really have it in America. It's coming back, but that's because it's coming back from people immigrating here. It's not. Is the vaccine isn't as well
manufactured?
Manufactured and delivered. But this, like kind of what Chris was brought up, it could help eradicate that. Like, because I was born with polio. Why didn't you fix that, parents? And it could. I just don't have. That would have cost an extra $20,000, But still, it could then get to the point where if this becomes that popular, it's not going to be $20,000. It's going to be $1,000.
Well,
or it's going to be $500. Or maybe if it's that serious of a thing, your health insurance will cover it because you're doing a good thing for humanity. I
know with my brother and sister-in-law with their child soon. My future niece, they had tests on. I think I read a check for like which blew my mind. But they had the tests where a test for like autism, whatever, and stuff like that. And that to me in of itself, I thought was like the future, advance. But now, reading what you just showed me right now with everything else, it's kind of crazy that this is a reality where you have that option to alter genetics and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Which, again, that's another topic for another day. But a lot of stuff you can argue, like ethics and semantics, whatever. But I also want to realize too, and to Chris's point, some things, if you had the chance to change it,
it was mostly tequila.
yeah. That this very tequila drink. That's why I'm sipping on it right now. I don't want to go back and start having a bad day. Put it that way. But yeah, so that was a really cool segment you showed me. Kind of terrifying, but still really cool. I didn't really realize. I guess I probably should have gone more into it, but how advanced technology is growing.
Oh, dude, it's definitely one of those things where it's not like public. Like you don't really hear of it on the news. It's not really public knowledge. It's one of those things where you already have to be interested in and just constantly keep up and research. And it's definitely like one website that I really love is Wired.
Yeah,
you learn a lot from it. But then this is also something that's in like popular mechanics and popular science.
Mm-hmm. And to me, at least, I look forward to. I mean, especially on that rabbit hole too of what is going to be coming in the future and what's going to be happening as far as how the human race as a whole can be changed with technology and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. And then also what Chris said, there is some pretty insane invisibility stuff going on right now. I briefly saw that on an article on Facebook. I thought it was like one of those ads, but it was one of those legit links to talk about that, and they're having like it's mirror based or something like that. Like they have mirrors that can like supposedly.
So there's a couple different ones. The original one was it was almost like a plexiglass type thing where it was like rounded. So it pretty much projected things that were around it and kind of made it invisible with whoever was around it. Then it turned into where it was like a screen with cameras behind you, so it projected what was behind you in front of you. And then there was the one that he's probably thinking about now is literally bending light. And they did a couple of them. Let me see if I can do a quick Google search. Visibility cloak bending light. Let's just do this one. So this one, let's see if it's quantum stealth invisibility cloak can conceal people and entire buildings. Version 1 light bending material. So it's out of hyper stealth biotechnology in Maple Ridge, Canada. So you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a difference in color, but
okay, that's insane to me. I mean, you see a little bit of the
you see like a little bit of like color disfiguration from the blue jeans and everything. Sorry guys, we're watching a YouTube video, but that's pretty much where it's going, and
that's insane.
Oh my god, come on, ads. There we go. Let's go into. So the further you pull this thing away, the like more invisibility it pretty much takes into effect.
That's nuts.
And it's just how it reflects light, pretty much.
Okay.
So so the guy's obviously behind it, but the further you put it away from something, the more effect it has. So they're trying to turn it into a way where you could pretty much attach it or even paint it onto planes. I think they wanted to do planes because of the stealth pilots and everything, where when they are flying, it just pretty much just reflects the clouds. And it should be a little bit easier because it's very bright up there and you're far away. But they're pretty much just trying to figure out how to attach it. So right now it's just I want to say that video was like 6-7 years old, so I know they're much more advanced now, but it's pretty much how it's reflecting and bouncing light from behind you, because it's not an actual flat piece. It's almost like those plastic projector pieces.
Yeah.
So even if you take one now, you put your hand away, it goes from really big to really small. So that's pretty much what they're doing.
Insane in the membrane. What did he say?
He said, "What y'all drinking? Side note, F you COVID, give your balls a tug."
Yeah, I told Garrett you had COVID. We are having a JOHNNY SILVERHAND. Garrett found the recipe online. It's a cyberpunk influenced cocktail with tequila, orange bitters, guava, like a Belgian beer, full of speed and agave beer. But
yeah,
he mentioned earlier in the beginning of the show that the Biddies didn't have the specific beer, so he had a switch out for something similar to it, and then orange. It's really good, actually. Like it's definitely an acquired taste. I like it a lot. But
it's not bad, especially since I did a float onto it.
Yeah,
I would say the beginning of it was really good because there was a good mixture of the beer and tequila, but now it's mostly the tequila, so it's hitting hard.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, just pump the brakes there, bud.
Yeah, but enough about me. More about
you. I'm going to do my last two things for me on my end. I'm going to start doing a new thing on here for the podcast. I mentioned before about figure reviews. I kind of mentioned it briefly with Garrett, and Chris can even tell you too. My house, I have a bunch of nerd horror memorabilia shit, essentially. And I definitely am the guy to show off my treasure, if you will. I think.
And honestly, he downsized a lot.
I have. I Funko Pops in general. So Garrett was there in my worst when I had about almost 200 plus Funko Pops. I took out a whole entire wall when I was with my mom still, and
if you shut the door the wrong
it would
way,
all fall down. And dead serious, I sold them because I got so sick and tired of them falling over. So I'm like, screw this, I'm done. I'm selling them all, whatever. So I only have like a handful nowadays I keep. But I just love figurines, I guess being a 27-year-old inside, I'm still a child. I love like holding different heroes out of comic books, whatever.
It's not like I don't have figurines.
I mean, yeah.
As we have this guy here, and we have Broly and everything, and Vegeta's, and
Garrett pretty
Deku's.
much. He's I would say more the anime guy. I still have to definitely hop into that dark rabbit hole sooner or later. But I'm a huge comic book fan. I love comic books, and from the first episode of this whole podcast. But I'm a huge fan of Marvel Legends. That's the figurine line from Marvel, and I've been collecting those for many a year now, and those, I would say, Smart Bastards had a new thing to where for different series lines you can build a figure. And
because they did Thanos before, didn't
yeah,
they?
yeah, and I wanted that, but even then was like, there's smartness in the sense that they force you to buy a figure you don't want just to get that certain piece.
Yeah.
And because people do buy the toys and sell them separately on eBay, but I'm not spending $40 on an arm. I'd rather just spend money on a figure.
Yeah, you might as well go out and get $20 for the figure.
Yeah, and that's asinine to me. But
so do it though.
Well, my first slide I ever got build a figure was forgot his name. It was out of the
was it the Ghost Rider?
No, it was out of the Access series with X-Men vs. Avengers. It was like something, I forgot what it was. Damn. Omega Red. It was. Damn.
Let's see if it pops up.
X-Men
versus Avengers build a figure.
Or just type in the
Marvel Access.
Red Skull. Yeah, that's the one. What's it called?
Red Skull Onslaught?
Onslaught, yes. That was the first I ever got, and I ended up trading it because it was cool, but...
it's cool, but I don't know.
Well, that was actually used to be Magneto or Xavier, I think, for the whole line, but I ended up buying the whole entire line. It was cool.
Is that Spawn?
No, that's...
what is that?
That's... Enhance. He's a villain for the Captain America. It's like Cheetah or something like that, like a Blue Panther dude. I forgot what it was called, but anyway, Marvel Legends. I'm trying collecting them, and I love them. You know, I love to hate them because I have to buy figures I don't want to build a figure. But for my figure review, that's he was in the Civil War series. Crap, he was the Demolition.
Interesting.
It's not Demolition Man. It's something involving explosives, but he was in the Civil War story arc.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll get to the point now. So I recently finally completed the Venom Wave 2 series. I already had the Venom Wave 1, where you build, it's not Eddie Brock's Venom, Matt Gorgon's Venom. It was during the Dark Avengers series, I think it was. Dark Avengers? Yes, it was. Where Scorpion, or the guy who plays Scorpion in Spider-Man series, got the symbiote.
I don't think I ever read any of that.
It's a great series. It's when Norman Osborn becomes like Iron Patriot.
Really?
Bullseye becomes Hawkeye. Spider-Man, whatever. Matt Gorgon becomes Venom. It was before or after the Skrull series, I think it was, something like that, or during Civil War.
That sounds interesting.
It's really good to read. But this one actually, technically, it is based off the comic books. But also the base model for it is based off the mobile game Contest of Champions. So I'll bring it out right now. This is the 2020 Build-A-Figure Venom pool, if you want to show it to the camera.
Yeah. So this thing I'm extremely jealous of, and I'm probably going to steal it today. But, yeah, this is Venom pool. Oh, sorry. But, yeah, again, this is the one based off of the Marvel
Contest of Champions game.
Because there's, 3 of Marvel games on the App Store? There's,
Marvel Strike Force, Marvel, Contest of Champions, Marvel Alliance.
Yeah.
And then Chris and I can tell you, we play Strike Force. And you played Strike Force for a while, too.
Yeah, I still do every once in a while.
So, general review for this, you want to show them the swords, too, with it. And then these, here, if you want to show that, too. It's a pretty bulky figure. I'm kind of surprised. Typically, the Build-A-Figures, there are bulky. This one definitely has, it kind of goes with the podcast, but it's just pure muscle. I love the way it looks. My rule of thumb, typically, Marvel Legends typically have mass sculpts, but awesome articulation.
Ooh, these would be good back scratchers.
Oh, Marvel Select, though, which is mostly a Disney toy, has great sculptures or sculpting, but sometimes articulation. With this one, I would say Legends nailed it. I love the sculpt on it. It definitely has the nice red Deadpool tint to it.
Oh yeah,
I love the staples on it. The little cool chains and the wrists. Articulation actually is not that bad. It definitely can go around the arm. Head can pivot up and down like such. If you want, I pose my stuff. Garrett could tell you I pose all my stuff in a certain way to make it look cool. So it has a wrist kind of crunch to it. Legs are.
Oh, Chris said, demolition guy you mentioned. Are you talking about Nitro?
No. It was a specific. I'll pull it up after this, but it's specific. Civil War guy. He was on, I think, Cap's side or the villain side, and he was a part of that. And I think he got shot in the head by Frank Castle, though.
Oops.
Only thing I can play about this thing is that the left leg, it does come off easy. If I'm trying to pose it in a way, it's kind of a little frustrating. And then also, it does have the interchangeable hands that he was showing you. You may have to pull, if you're a collector like I am, the tricks and trades of the figure line. Warm water or blow dryer, you can pull it off easily so it warms the plastic up instead of breaking stuff off. But I love this thing. This is another piece of my collection that I'm going to be happy to display. Greg could tell you I have a whole shelf full of symbiotes, venoms, all that kind of stuff. And
it's pretty cool.
This, to me, I would say is so far my favorite out of the Venom symbiote line. I also like how even the teeth, the paint detail on this is awesome. And usually you've seen a figurines, it's just a smooth plastic, but they actually have textured.
One is textured, and it has all the different textures. So the leather. One is how it's painted.
It's gloss,
even how it's painted and the style of plastic, it almost looks and feels like a leather, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then depending on, I don't know if my camera will pick it up, But if you see on the red, there's some texture on it compared to the black, and how it's smooth. So it's smooth textured, which is kind of cool. So it is really awesome. So yeah, the texture on the red is almost like supposed to be like the canvas, where the black is supposed to be like the leather. So,
yeah, I love it. I think it's cool, and for me at least, this thing holds a special place in my heart with this figurine because it reminds me of you actually when I got you that Venom. I for his birthday, was it for Christmas?
No, it was for Christmas. Yeah,
I found a first print issue of What If Venom possessed Deadpool, and Garrett was looking for that issue for quite some time, and I found it for. It was I wouldn't say it was like expensive, but for a reasonable price that I was okay with biting the bullet on.
Yeah.
And so that's why with this at least, I definitely I'm not gonna get rid of this because it has whole sentimental value, but also it's just a cool figure all around.
It really is. And by the way, so two things. It is canon that Venom did possess Deadpool, and two, it wasn't Spider-Man that was the first attachment of the symbiote.
It was Deadpool.
It was Deadpool.
It was Deadpool.
And yes, that's canon. It was part of the Secret Wars, and that followed Deadpool, and that's actually why Venom went to be so batshit crazy.
Yes, and now, really quick, before I get my last thing, I want to say, if you haven't been following Marvel comic books for the Venom series, I know for a little while it was kind of meh, but if you can, start reading The King in Black.
King in Black.
That's the new major Marvel back comic book where Null, the King of the Symbiotes, takes over the world, essentially.
Now, is this after the fact where
this is after
take in effect that Agent Venom was a thing, or is this like old school Venom?
No, this is modern day Eddie Brock. Okay. It's a completely new story arc with Donny Cates and I think if I'm trying to get the name, but Greg Sigmund. They wrote the series, and I met with C2E2, which is awesome. But this is the new Venom series been going on for since 2018, and it's still ongoing. But it's based around Null, which I'm happy I got the first appearance of him. He's King of Symbiotes. He's actually like he's one of the few people like the first like gods that were alive before Earth was created, whatever, all kind of crap. So he's like a cosmic being, much like Galactus is. But like Marvel has a tendency to do that. They have like this whole thing of like a galactic being is the main villain now, and just anyway, you get the point. But King in Black, if you haven't read it, check it out, because do you know what Sentry is? Like Marvel's answer to Superman?
Yeah.
King in Black, Skull ripped him in half in the first issue. Like, just, Captain America said attack him, and Null pretty much said, so this is where when I drop my F-bomb for the show.
Yep.
Fuck you, you're gonna do shit, and then there's a whole panel of just him tearing Sentry in half. And it was like, holy shit. This guy's not screwing around. And I fell in love with it, and that's why I actually went back and picked up the back issues leading into these events, which I'm happy I found at a place in Owen Park. Amazing Fantasy, I think it is.
Yeah.
Thankfully, thank you guys, by the way, for helping me out. If you happen to see this in the future, I appreciate you with that. But it was insane. And then, really quick too, Death Metal. I don't have the newest version, but read that next, because there's a badass, like, huge war scene that happens on issue 6 that will blow your mind. And it's cool, but just future talks.
King of Black, Venom, and then Death Metal.
Yeah, Death Metal, the whole series. But anyway, back on topic with this really quick. If you guys happen to find it, the Big Badass Toy Store, if you are a fan of Marvel Legends, whatever, they have the whole set to build a figure.
Is Death Metal like the DC
universe? Yeah, that's the title of it. Or like Dark Knight's Death Metal, you can put in there too.
I just want to make sure that I was on the same page as you.
Of course. They have the whole figure line set for $135. Comes with Carnage, Phage, the movie version of Venom, the one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tom Hardy's Venom. Miles Morales symbiote suit, Venom, and Morbius living vampire.
Really?
And I think that's it. And that's all the build figure line, but I love this thing. Like, this is definitely a cool piece. My only two gripes again that the left leg kind of falls off, and then also with the sword holders. I don't want to demo it right now because it's just too much of a pain in the ass, but they sometimes fall off easily on the back. I'm kind of debating about just buying the bullet, just gluing it on there so it doesn't fall off at all.
I would.
But if you guys are interested, definitely check it out. This is really cool. Next week, I want to come up with some more horror-oriented stuff for figurine reviews. But yeah, check it out. Venom Pool. And then my last topic of the day is going to be my band, If I Were the Devil. We dropped our album January 8th.
Finally.
Yeah, I know. And it was a bit frustrating because we dropped the album on Bandcamp that Friday. But
yeah, and you guys got a lot of good donations.
Yeah, I was quite surprised too. Like, I'm not trying to necessarily like downplay our band or anything like that, but also I didn't expect immediate reaction. You know, because mind you, we really had an issue with Spotify and other major streaming services. So what it is that in which I guarantee most musicians on listening right now are going to relate to this as well. I didn't know that you had to wait almost a week for them to distribute and then we'll drop the album. Because I was under the impression with our first single, Satanarchy, that would be okay one day and like maybe 2 days at max. Then they upload to the streaming services. Yeah. Well, I guess depending on the music files and the formats, whatever, it can take up to a week, I guess, to put it on their streaming service format to stream your album. And it was kind of frustrating because when I dropped the album, I could only drop it on Bandcamp. But I think actually that worked out for the best. And waiting a week later for Spotify to drop and like Apple Music, whatever, too, because the donations, I didn't think we would get an immediate, I thought it'd be mostly people, which you can still listen to the full album for free technically on Bandcamp, but if you want to actually like buy the album and not have to do Bandcamp and listen to it, you'd buy the album. But we actually had people buy the album. We actually had an immediate review the day of too from the Pit, in which I was at work. And I got a message from Chris from the Pit and saying, "Hey, I reviewed you guys' album." I'm like, that was fast, and pulled it up and nothing but great words, which is awesome.
Very nice.
And then we were on a radio / podcast station. I think it was Asgardian Radio.
Yeah, Asgard Radio.
Yeah, which thank you for having us, by the way. It was really awesome for you to play our song. He played Hark the Herald, and then Monday, this guy named Jarek, who used to live in Chicago, we moved back to Poland. He's going to have us on his radio station or podcast on Monday, as in tomorrow, on the Doc Metal Show. And then this morning, I just got a message from a woman named, which I'm sorry if I can pull up right now, actually, because, technology. I have it right here. Kimmy. She has a podcast called metaldeli.com. She wants to have us have a song of our album on the show too. So I'm very happy. Like, we've got a lot of attention, I would say.
Big time.
Yeah. I was quite surprised. And
within 2 weeks, you guys got albums sold, reviews. You were on one radio show, soon to be another, and then you just got offered to be on a third.
Yeah, and it's insane. I didn't think it would hit the ground this fast in this sense, but it's cool to me. And then now we are officially on Spotify and Apple Music.
After he lied to me and broke my heart.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of people like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." I remember talking to Chris about it, and I was like, "I don't know what's going on, man." I'll get to email them, and I kind of wanted to headhunt that data to see what's going on as to why we weren't being able to.
Chris says, "Shout out to Francisco."
Yeah, Francisco. I'll have to tell you. I'll tell you off the podcast.
I'm just thinking of Elf. Francisco.
I'll tell you off the podcast. I don't want to. That was good, Chris. I'll tell you the podcast. Shout out to Francisco, my boy. Appreciate you. But we are looking forward to people. Hopefully, you guys want to please. I'm going to kind of up-talk us. If you're a metal fan and you have a podcast or YouTube channel,
just don't listen to them.
Shut up. Send me your email. I'll be more happy to send you some of the songs from the album and review. But we again didn't expect the response. It's my point of view. I'm not going to speak for the whole entire band, but
honestly, I think what was really in your favor is just technology and the people, the ease of making a podcast, because like you get a mic. you find a good distributor.
Mm-hmm.
We use Podbean because it distributes everywhere. A lot of people do, and yeah, people like Mr. Tom here. Mr. Tom here is very extroverted. So you just know a lot of people, and same thing with Chris and the rest of the band. Like each person knows everyone, so there's a very good chance that one person knows a podcast.
Yes,
and then it just snowballs kind of thing. So
which is completely, to me, it's awesome in the sense too that listen, during COVID times, that the Chicago metal scene is still very much alive.
Yeah,
you know,
and it makes your jobs easier at promoting yourselves.
Yeah, it definitely did, and it's nice that even during a pandemic period of our lives, that music still is being appreciated, listened to, and mind you, this is not like for everybody. It's definitely screaming and rah 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 kind of crap, but I appreciate the people who appreciate our crap in a sense, and I want to thank everybody who purchased the album, listened to it, and came back to me with either negative or positive feedback. And we will be coming out with merch soon. Letting you guys know, for right now, we'll probably do like a t-shirt line, women's and men's, stuff like that soon. I will definitely keep Coach Garrett posted and everybody else on my social medias posted about that too. And then I think we're also talking about doing physical format as well for the album.
Like I said, once you guys get a record,
I'm
pre-ordering that shit.
We definitely are looking forward to doing some vinyl presses too, and possibly some CD. That's still in talk, though. We haven't really gotten that far yet. But thank you guys so much, really, literally. And great news is that we're all actually already writing new music, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you were posting some of it on your social
media. Well, I'm trying to, I will say thank you. Wow, big shout out to Kyla, by the way. Kyla, Chris's lovely girlfriend. Thank you for running the Instagram page. It took kind of a load off my back because right now I was running the Facebook, Instagram page. I started a Twitter page now for us, and then
I tried to do Twitter. I still can't get a hang of that.
I can't either, but I'm just treating it as a typical social media platform where I post it and then that's it. I'm not gonna try. I made some hashtags, but Kyla, thank you so much for just helping me out with this. It takes a little bit of load off my back trying to promote stuff. And thank you also for modeling with us for the band shoot, which was a fun day too. And again, big shout out to also everybody involved in the project. Whether it be Angie or Joe.
I was actually part of the photo shoot. I was the snake.
I'm a snack.
I'm a snake. I'm a sneaky little snake.
You will see me, unfortunately, just still bombarding social media with the band stuff. Promoting never stops.
It's snowing.
It's snowing.
It's snowing.
It's snowing. It's snowing. Because it's talking about black metal, so that's snow during black metal stuff.
Big ass chunks.
That's what she said. What else you say? Yeah, he messaged me.
No, you just said shout out to Francisco.
Oh, okay. I thought you messaged.
Then there's also, as quotes, child, I am Null, Lord of the Abyss, God of the Symbiotes, the darkness inside of you, that darkness bows to me, I am the void, and then Brutal, and then those guys are okay, and then shout out to Francisco.
Yeah, no. Francisco. I'll tell you afterwards. I'll show you. It's a whole story that we're gonna. I can't tell the public right now, but overall, thank you everybody who bought the album, and if everyone wants to check us out or give us a review, I'd love to give you some stuff from the album just to kind of have and talk about it on your social media pages. And also, happy first episode, season 2. This is
season 2
of the podcast. I am going to try and kind of branch out a little bit more, like the figure reviews now, but also I kind of wanted to dive into maybe something that's kind of odd, but bringing back it tastes like heaven.
All tequila.
I've had that oranges in there because it made it a little more smoother on the start. Yeah, that orange definitely helps out a little bit.
The tequila isn't smooth. It's tequila.
It's I call it the top shelf cheap tequila, as I would say. It's not bad, but you'll definitely get a little bit of a taste you don't like.
My face is like like De Niro, right?
Yeah, yeah. I actually want to start doing on the podcast more though. Just promoting more artists. I want to start local artists. You know, I'm actually gonna talk to her today after I get back and see if she can send me some stuff. But I want to start promoting more artists on here for our stuff.
Well,
and
we already had one guest of mine, so we're still waiting on your guest. Or...
Yeah, well, on the account of her being pregnant.
I think that's that's like the perfect cosplay.
I will definitely get back to soon, probably by the end of like tomorrow or Monday to get back in a guest. But
well, we can maybe do like if you still want. Oh, congrats, boys! Keep it going. If maybe we could do like a phone interview with
that works too.
With her.
We'll get back to you on that for sure. But I will also be bringing back up more comic book reviews. Unfortunately, before I kind of at my part, he can tell you too. It was difficult reading my comic books with Christmas and then other events happening too.
Holidays.
So I didn't really have a chance. Obviously, I mentioned Noel, the god of symbiotes, but I now hopping back into the game, and I'll bring back my comic book review, weekly back into the podcast.
I need to go back on my site and see if it's still even there for the online comics that I would torrent.
Yeah. So, but thank you guys. Looking forward to season 2 of the podcast, and hopefully this year will bring us more promising new things that are looking forward to bigger, peaceful stuff as well in this world and this climate, and also staying healthy and shit like that too. And cheers to you guys, and thank you for listening to me babble for I don't know, an hour or two.
Hour and a half. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, chug it.
Want to chug it? Okay. And the orange now. The orange is gonna suck the most because it's all
tequila.
Yeah, so.
But those oranges are pretty sweet.
Ooh. That's all tequila. Wow. Yeah, I'll wake up in the morning. Woo!
But so
what can we look forward to on Coach Garrett's end for season 2?
Season 2, I'm going to be definitely a lot more themed with each podcast. So like today was Cyberpunk 2077, going through all the augmentations. My next one, I definitely want to do Valhalla. So I'm going to talk a lot more about Vikings, how they stayed strong, how they stayed healthy, what they ate, what they drank, and even their just daily regimens. So that's going to be the next one. Probably go into like just other type of video games. So Cold War came out, so we'll probably talk about what the Black Ops Cold War. So we talk about like Cold War era nutrition, Cold War era workouts, especially for the military, and then even what they did back in the day to stay safe against the possible nuclear blast and everything like that. So maybe talk about a little about Chernobyl as well. So.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a blast coming over to Coach Garrett's house today and catching up, but also...
and then also we're going to be doing more mixed drinks. So
yes. I'm going to next week bring over my Dr. Pepper and Screwball. And actually, Chris, I'll talk to you. I actually want to have him on the show sooner or later, because for vocals, that's definitely a muscle that you
work.
Yeah. So
that's the one nice thing about TikTok I stumbled upon, where it also put it into my algorithm, where they're showing like how some people like do their singing and their like their growls and everything, and I tried practicing, and to this day it still sounds like it sounds like a midget just screaming. So
the buttholes.
But like opening the nostrils, so it's like, and then like where to put the tongues and how to like position their soft palate and everything. I'm like, Chris probably is just like, no, you just do it. But then there's like people that like practice this and they could hit all the different type of growls and ranges and everything, so they know how to manipulate their vocal cords and how to open up their mouth and move their tongue and relax like their throat and their nostrils and stuff like that.
Well,
and how to suck in air and blow out air. You're like, it's a science.
I was trying to tell Angie I want to learn how to scream too, and I can do it. I've been doing it. I mean, I've done it wrong for a long time, and now I'm doing it the right way.
Are you doing it the right way due to Chris teaching you, or are you doing it
the right
way?
No, there was an old DVD I watched, which she probably knows, called The Zen of Screaming, and it's a whole Randy Blythe, Lamb of God, lost that on all that kind of stuff, but controlling a lot of like your abdominal muscles too for deep guttural helps. It also took exercises as well with the highs to help you out, and even watching Chris during the album recording, you know, he had a whole regiment for warming up, whatever, all kind of stuff too. So yeah, something like that. Oh, yeah. Anyway, but we look forward, everybody, to look forward to season 2. Look forward to a lot of new topics, and also this year definitely having more guests as well, like I mentioned before. And
because I already have some guests on my mind. There's Hammer Ninja Sean, who does the Banff Hammers,
which are
down
insane.
Yeah, he's all the way down in Georgia, I want to say. And then there's also another really awesome lady. She's actually based out at Indianapolis, and she's a nutritionist as well as a power lifter, and she did MMA fighting for a while too, where she might be going back into it, so might be able to do a podcast with her. Get Carly back on, talk to her and see how she's doing out in Canada.
I miss you, Carly.
He was supposed to dress up as you today, but he forgot.
So I was supposed to come here in makeup and look like you, and come in just look like be your replacement for now, but didn't happen.
He forgot.
Yeah.
He woke up late. He had a late night.
No, I didn't have a late night. I went to bed at 10 o'clock last night, actually.
He had a late night compared to his usual nights.
Oh, shut up.
But, have Dr. Organa come back on so we could tell her what she's currently doing in lab, because she's out in, all the way out in Canada,
Figure it out.
And so she's working out in Canada, so tell us a little bit more of what she's working on. We'll go over and probably bust some basic myths, as well as just stuff that you see in in foods, and as processed foods, as well as just what actually preservatives may be, and just even maybe talk about the new vaccines coming out, because there's Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, and I think there's 2 other ones, so there's a couple. Have her talk about some of the stuff that she would be able to enlighten us on with that. So I have a couple of guests already in mind. Tom, he's already talking about having a sister-in-law, and Chris, and I know you're even talking about having I forgot his name from Death and Body Works.
Oh, Dave, yeah. I was definitely love to have. He's a big fitness guy too. Big fitness guy. Actually, he had a story yesterday on Facebook stories. He bought these new stuffed pullovers running shoes for snow. It's like these.
With the.
I have to recall, but you put them on your running shoe and it helps you gives you traction on your feet when you're running, whatever.
Yeah.
And he tried it on yesterday, and he had a whole story about it, but I would love to have him on soon, and I'm going to talk to him about that, maybe, and get him going.
Yeah,
but
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to be seeing him this weekend, so bring it up. I'll remind you.
Thank you. Wrap it up.
Yeah, well, good to wrap it up. So, so that's what's going to be happening in Season 2. We're going to be trying to have a little bit more of a structured plan with just recordings and everything. So I know when we first restarted this, we were pretty structured, and then just kind of life happened. I got busy with the gym because we reopened back up. Mr. Tom here got busy too because it was just haunt season.
So he was then band stuff, and then multiple things like this kind of.
And it all paid off for you, man. You guys are on radio stations, podcasts, made an album. People completely bought the album, is on Spotify, and you guys are starting to make new stuff, so hard work definitely pays off.
Yes, it does. And thank you guys so much. Y'all take care. Thanks for being on these first live podcasts for us.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you soon.
Yep. So, and then also everyone that was able to watch us on live, this is the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that obviously didn't watch this, and not like it matters. Well, I don't know. I guess it matters because you're listening, but then people that are watching this live. But yeah. So then, if you didn't watch us live, well, then you're listening to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So people in the current time are listening to it, and then people are in the current time listening to it. It's weird. Time travel. But yeah, so we'll probably be doing this a lot more. We're going to be posting it up on Facebook so people could get kind of a view what's behind scenes. And as you can see, not a whole lot.
Well, it's something. But thank you anyway for watching us. I appreciate it.
Thanks. And then, yeah, so maybe one of these days we'll actually do a live podcast where I'll have to kind of fool around to see if I could do this on Spotify and Apple, where this is just live recording, and then you could listen to it live as well as watch it live on YouTube. So we'll do something. Then we could answer questions about comics, anime, fitness, health, bands, and art.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. I love it a lot. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. But yeah, this is Coach Garrett signing out.
That guy Tom signing out.
And thanks for listening to the
Offended Fitness
Podcast. Peace.